Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Sylvia and I make videos on planning with occasional review. Today's video is going to be how to set up for a new bullet journal. It is officially happy birthday week, and for me that means that my birthday as well as my partner Jay of 18 years, our birthdays fall on the same week. And every year for my birthday, amongst other things, I buy myself a new notebook. And so this year I decided I wanted to get a Leuchtturm 1917 since they have suited me so well in the past. I have been talking about for a couple of videos now how I'm just really not planning. This is sort of like the off season technically for me. My nieces and nephews are not in school right now. Jade's the only one I have left in middle school, and so therefore, you know, the summer's a little bit more free. There's not a lot of planning that needs to be done. But personally, I have found that I do miss planning and I miss the structure, and I'm not getting as much with my writing done because I've just been kind of chill. So I decided I wanted to go back to a bullet journal for the beginning of the next 6 months of the year, which is starting at the end of this month. We're in June 2022, in case you're watching this in the future. I made that sound harder than it actually was. I'm out of breath. So anyway, what I mean is there are 6 months left in the year, okay? I can't even believe we're 6 months through this year, and I want to plan for the third quarter in a bullet journal. I was going to say bujo. I guess it is going to be a bujo. We'll talk about that as well. So I went ahead and I brought out the last three bullet journals that I have used. Of course, in between these, I've used dated planners as well as other notebooks, but these are the three latest bullet journals that I have used. This one being the most recent. A lot of people actually really liked this bullet journal. I had a lot of people actually say they picked up an A6 bullet journal, which was really cool, and I was excited that you guys were inspired to do some kind of what Carrie Carling calls, what does she call it? Pint size planning. It's just really simple. This was dailies. There really wasn't any weeklies in here because I was using this alongside of my weeks, my Hobonichi weeks, so I didn't need space for the weekly. But this was fun and I enjoyed it. It kept me organized. I did a little journaling in here as well as some planning. So yeah, I was really excited about this. In the summertime, this probably would be suitable as well, just because I don't have as much planning to do. However, I want to get more organized in other things like Duolingo and vocab. I want to get back to my book spreads and I just need more space, so I'm going back to an A5. Now okay, hold on, let me grab it. Also, I have this one. This is the Bullet Journal Edition 2, which is the collab with the Leuchtturm 1917. And I really failed at this. I tried to use it as a commonplace notebook, and then I turned it into a bullet journal. It wasn't working for me. I tried to keep my reading for the year in here, and I found that that wasn't really working because my planning wasn't in here. So I wasn't opening this notebook. Do you guys also have this problem? It's a struggle of mine. Sometimes I can only open the things that I'm actually going to use on a daily basis. And since this was more of like a once in a while sort of a deal, it just wasn't working out for me. There's plenty of space in here. I've only used up to page 29 out of, how many pages are in here? 206. So this is the thicker paper. This is the 120 pound paper, and I just couldn't vibe with this paper, you guys, or the fact that this is you know, thicker than the standard Leuchtturm 1917. It might actually not look like that because I have bulked this one up a little bit, adding tip-ins. Nobody ever calls or texts me until I sit down to film. Anyway, but I don't know, there was something about it. I can tell just by holding it that it's heavier, and it just kept throwing me off. Now, this is not the first time this has happened to me. I used to, if you can believe it or not. Maybe you've been following for a while, and that's awesome if you have, but back in the day, I really hated Traveler's Company that used to be, at the time, considered Midori. I used to hate the standard notebooks. I thought they were very, like, masculine. I still think they're masculine, but I could not appreciate them for the life of me. They're absolutely my favorite little traveler's notebook forevers now, but at that time I just could not vibe with them at all. So I'm hoping that over time I'm gonna get over what's happening with this and I'm gonna be able to use the 120-pound paper and the heaviness and the extra bulk because of the thicker pages. I'm gonna get over it, but I haven't yet. So I did go ahead and order the 80-pound paper that comes in the original. So I did get a different color. And no, it is not black. It is another shade of blue though. Basically, I don't know. I just wanted to go back to this. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of the 80-pound paper. I shouldn't say a lot, but there are enough of the people out there, that don't like the 80-pound paper because of the ghosting and the bleed through. But you all have been following me for a while. You know that I really don't use that many products, different kinds of mediums in my bullet journals. Therefore, the 80-pound paper is perfectly fine for me. I tend to use my friction pens because I like to erase and they don't ghost or bleed through. So there's that. And mostly Tombow markers, the way I use them, because I don't brush letter, they don't bleed through because I'm not pushing really hard on them. So yeah, I'm waiting for that notebook. That should be either here today or tomorrow. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to take this. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry, where was I? Oh yeah, so that's what I am waiting on right now. And I thought I would make this video because normally when I set up a new bullet journal, I just go through, I get a pack of sticky notes, which I have here. Like these, I just kind of write down monthly task list and then I stick it on the page I want it on, kind of as a placeholder so that I can kind of see how I want to design my bullet journal for the month that I'm going to be starting in there. Just get everything all organized. Since I don't have it, I thought, okay, maybe I'm going to try out the, I think her name is Sunshine and Stationery. I'm so bad with names, you guys know that. I think that's her name. Anyway, she's super popular here on YouTube. Highly recommend her if you don't know her already. I'm sure that you do because she's awesome. But in the past, she has done these how to plan for a new bullet journal videos where she basically sits down and writes out everything. And since I don't have my bullet journal, I thought, well, this would be a good way to do it. Then I could just pull from here with some stickies and then organize it later off of camera. So hopefully you'll find this helpful to you. It's also a really good way to figure out what you want and what you don't. I have a couple of things on here. I think like number 4 and number 5 are both weekly spreads and I couldn't decide between the two. So I put them both on here just to let myself have a little bit more time to make an executive decision before my bullet journal comes. So I've gone ahead and I've marked off 1 through 8 here so that I could kind of show you what I've done in the past and a few things that I have already gone ahead and drawn out that I'm going to think about trying for the future. So instead of doing more of a basic bullet journal, I'm going to try to aim for a functional bullet journal, which to me means it's still functional, but maybe adding a little bit of different designs, like drawing out my weekly a little bit more. At one point on this channel, I didn't even use a ruler because I was like, this is lazy planning. Still lazy planning, and you can always adapt these however you wish, but I kind of want to try out a few different things. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab my Jibun Techo because that's on here at part 5, number 9, and I forgot to grab it so you can see what that looks like. So I will be right back. Okay, let's get started with number 1, and this is a spread. So the first one I have here is the monthly task list, and I have it marked here in this bullet journal. So I like the combination of having the monthly task list and what's number 2, which is my monthly cover page in vellum over here. I like this better than the Writer Carol version where you have the monthly on one side and then the task list on the right hand side. Let's see, I probably have one I can show you in here. So writer Carol likes to do something like this, where you have the bullet journal style on the left hand side, the calendar, and then you have the to-do or task list on the right hand side. Now this is the Frankenlog Lite system I really liked. I don't have enough going on right now to really do this justice, so I thought I wouldn't try this out this time, or at least for this month, which is the beauty of the bullet journal, because the next month you can change it up. So I'm looking to do this again because I liked the way that worked out. And of course behind here I used a Tombow marker to make a line. I changed my mind and I just put tape over it so you couldn't see it through the vellum, but yeah, you can always fix things if you mess things up, and then it just looks like you meant to do that. So there's that. On to number 2. So we have another spread that's 3 and 4. So this is the 2-page spread. As you can see here, it's just the monthly spread, and in the past I have gone ahead and downloaded things like this to go ahead and tape in, just for very quick reference and writing of appointments without having to do any of the work. A lot of other people do that as well, but this time I think I want to draw it out because I'm growing as a person. Now when you do this, when you tape it in, of course you have Thursday sort of odd in the middle. It's not too bad to write on it, but if I was going to draw it out, of course I'd have Monday and Wednesday on one side and then Thursday through Sunday on the other. Then we're on to number 3. So number 3 is a week on one page. So this is like Hobonichi style, where you have your week on to the left, and then on the right you can have a second week, or you can go ahead and have something else like a memo page. I thought that I would go ahead and do a week on one page on the left, and then on the right on page 6 I would do goals and possibly an Leuchtturm method. Over here I was also thinking about some of those, I forget what they're called. They're just kind of like more like bar graphs for like chores, or to show how much you've read in a book. I really liked those in the past. So something like that, a combination of the two. I enjoy this. These are stamps by Midori, and then I just used some stencils. I can't remember if I used my Hobonichi ones or if I used my Jibun Techo stencils to make these numbers, but it comes out really nice and clean. I also like that I can divide my week in half this way when it's all on one page, and I can do something for appointments and then for tasks on the other side. Moving on to number 4, we have a weekly chart. So this spread can be used for multiple things. This can go back to number 2, where you do a monthly spread. So I counted these out. I think it's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the square. And so you can use this for a monthly calendar if you wanted to. I also like this for my weekly chart. So in the past, I've used a weekly chart that looks like this. So a weekly chart on the right side, and then on the left side I have like my weekly focuses, and then again some kind of, this one's not a bar graph, but some kind of way to mark off books that I've read and stuff like that. So I really enjoy doing things like this. Of course I've done the Monday through Sunday off to the side instead of the top, and at the top I would have my categories that I like to fill in the blank for. So this is another option that you can use, but I decided I wanted a 2-page spread for this. So a weekly spread where I have maybe tracking and Monday through Wednesday on one side, and then Thursday through Sunday on the other. So this also goes into number 5, which is the Jibun Techo Biz Weekly, which is one of my favorite planners, and I've kind of missed this a little bit this year. And so in the past, what I've done, because let's see if I can find a free page. This is close enough. There is time down the side of every single day so that you can mark off or block off your time rather. And, you know, that just never worked out for me very well. So I went ahead and I turned this into categories. You can see I have Mill and Health here, then tasks, and you can make them as big as you want, depending on how much writing you need to put in the box. Projects and challenges, and it goes all the way up to the top. And then I'd put like my main thing for the day, like that we were having a library day, trash day, early release for the kids, that sort of thing at the very, very top. This worked out well for me. I color coded them. So this means that I'd have to change things up because, of course, as I mentioned, The old way I did it, I had the days on the side like this and the categories at the top. So I'm going to have to switch it this way. And part of the reason why I used to do it down this way is it had more space. But now that I'm doing a 2-page spread, there's plenty of space for 7 days at the top. And then my categories would go down this way. And I think that this might work out for my new weekly spread. It's also great because you could turn this into a weekly spread without a weekly chart. Excuse me, I think I said weekly spread. This is my weekly chart, but you could do a weekly spread in here where you just wanted to focus on little categories. So this is a spread that I'm excited about. It takes up the majority of the page except for one box, which leaves me enough space to go ahead and put the date up here at the top. There's a section over here where I can write a weekly chart or the week that, of course, I am doing this in. What else did I say this was? Or, you know, just categories I could write up here at the top. It's just whatever works best for you. Then we move on to number 6, which I think is in the other book. So for number 6 is, I mean, it looks like another weekly because I have a week up here, but this was just my simple daily because I felt like when I did the days across like this, horizontally instead of vertically, it wasted a lot of space. Now I'd go back and I'd fill out that space with some stickers and stuff, but it still looked kind of empty. Not as finished or refined, so I prefer something like this for my dailies. So it's basically a day, a week rather, on 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, or a week on 2 spreads, since a spread is 2 pages. And then you can also keep track of some things over here off to the side with tasks for the week. And I just really liked this. It worked really well. At the end, I would put my weekly review. And this is something that I kind of miss. Also, you can fold this page in the center so that you can always have a view of these things off to the side, your weekly task list. So I really like this. I missed it. I liked having some stickers here. Used some washi tape up there. And it just looked really nice and uniformed. So of course this would have on the first page my weekly task list and chart with Monday, and then of course you'd have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and then on the last day the weekly review. Then we go to number 7. So number 7 is the weekly review. As you just saw, I can do a weekly review on one page, and sometimes that's all I need. But then I started to add more things to my weekly review to be helpful. So it wasn't just my thoughts and feelings of what worked, what didn't work, how I felt about the week. I started to add things that I accomplished that I felt really good about for that week as well. And if you put a couple of pieces of ephemera, you certainly can fill up 2 pages. And of course, to keep things neat, because I don't have the best handwriting, I would go ahead and skip every other line. And then we have number 8. So number 8, I don't know that I can really show you anything in number 8, which is basically just GTD, System Getting Things Done by David Allen, or Collections if you go by writer Carol. And this is just an area where you can keep your quarterly like breakdowns or goals, your reading notes, reading spreads. I had mentioned in the past that I didn't like keeping my reading spreads in the actual week or the month, because sometimes I put that book down, I didn't finish it, I had to return the book and check it out later, stuff like that, and I didn't finish it in that week or in that month. And I like to think of these pages as done, that I've checked off everything, I've marked off everything, and I never have to look back. I don't know why my brain works that way. I've tried to change it. It doesn't really work for me. So part of the thing I did for my collections or getting things done system, which most people keep in the back pages of their bullet journal, is to go ahead and put my year at a glance, which I only did 4 months in this one, in the back. I put my key in the back. I put my index in the back just because I tend to use it more than I do if it's in the front. I put my future log in the back. I put, this is by writer Carol, where he breaks down working on, should be working on, want to be working on for each individual month you make one. I started using these a lot more when they were in the back of my notebook. So I tend to take about the last 50 pages. Technically, I think it's 51 pages in here. So 51 pages, and that's where I keep my getting things done and collection pages. And I have talked in the past about the difference between getting things done system and collections. So GTD for short is just an actionable list where you break things down into smaller parts to make them actionable, where collections could just be actionable if you wanted to, but they can also just be a list of all your favorite songs of the 80s. You're not really going to do anything about that. You just wanted to list your top 10, and over the years you might do the same thing and see if they change as you find different songs, or that you vibe with one song more than the other. So yeah, that's everything. Of course I wrote at the bottom here review, monthly review, because I was like, I've never really kind of done the monthly review thing, and I didn't want to forget about that. So at some point I'll probably leave a sticky, and maybe the best thing about a sticky note is that you can go ahead and put it on the page, and once you get there and your month is not over, you can go ahead and pick it up, put it a few pages later until you finally get to the end, and then you'll have space for your monthly review and you won't forget about it. So that is pretty much everything. I am going to continue to try to work on this thicker paper and see how it goes, but this is how I have planned out the new bullet journal that's coming in the mail. And for those of you who are not in a bullet journal but you like my planning system, know that you can apply anything that I'm doing into any system you have, whether it's rings, traveler's notebook, or some other bound system like a plum planner or whatever. Okay, so that is everything. Look for my next couple of videos, because in the next video or two I will be setting up my new bullet journal for the next 6 months of 2022, the third quarter of the year. Alright, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope that this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!